as angry as I was at Steve, I was actually glad the Warriors lost because in that scenario, had they held on and won by a point or two or anything less than 5 points, whatever, then what went wrong down the stretch there probably would have been glossed over. And everyone would have been like, it's all right, they won, let's move on. When, no, we had to have a serious conversation about what took place down the stretch there. And not playing a guy who played very, very well, who the coach himself acknowledged played great, to not play him in the final 18 minutes when he is one of your top 5 players. And I know valuing Warrior players outside Steph is very difficult right now with how the roster is constructed. Players 2 through 11 or 12, it's hard to value, okay, who's the most important here, who's the best. But Jonathan Kuminga has been very, very good for the large parts of this stretch without Draymond Green since he's been in the starting lineup, which is now, I think, 12 games, is it? He's scored in double digits the last 14 games, I think he's now up to. He had to play. There is no other way around it. And I was actually more annoyed, more angry, more frustrated the fact that Steve acknowledged that he played great. Some of the point of attack defense in the first 2.5 quarters was maybe questionable. And then there were other plays where Andrew Wiggins was obviously the primary defender when he was out on the floor for the likes of Jamal Murray, and he had a couple of really good plays defensively. So if Steve wanted to come out and make the argument that we preferred Wiggs' defense over JK over the last 18 minutes, and we had some issues with JK's lack of defensive intent or effort while he was out there, then you could have at least made that argument. I don't think it would have validated not playing him. It would not have validated him not playing in the last 18 minutes. But at least it would have been some kind of reasoning. And instead he goes, it's just the situation of the game. And, we preferred to go with Wiggs. And that's why he didn't play in the last 18 minutes. And he acknowledged that JK played great in the first 2.5 quarters. My issue with that is that Steve actually tried different things. And this was another thing that was so frustrating, was that he actually did show some flexibility. So over that 7-minute period, everyone that took the floor, which was 9 players for the game, Moses Moody was a DNP, of the 9 players that played in that game, all but JK played in the last 7 minutes. So he was going through combinations of Saric and TJD together, just Saric, just TJD, Looney, CP3 was obviously out there, Wiggs was out there, Pods was out there, and then you obviously had Steph and Clay as well. Like, he was going through different combinations and trying different things to try and halt the momentum. The fact that Jonathan Kuminga was stapled to the bench and was just an onlooker like the rest of us was flat out disgusting. Like, disgusting to the point where it made me actually, I'm going to say, it made me suspicious. It made me think there's something going on here that is more than just this game. Like, there's something going on here. And so, obviously, after that, I wake up the next morning, Australian time over here, and the first thing I read is the report from Shams. I've got Shams on tweet notifications. So the first thing I do every morning, basically, is get my phone out, check my Twitter notifications, whatever. And so Shams has the report, and I read the report, and it says Jonathan Kuminga has lost faith in Steve Kerr, and that the 2021 lottery pick no longer believes Kerr will allow him to reach his full potential. Sources close to Kuminga tell The Athletic. And at that point, Warrior social media has gone into a meltdown, and I think the majority of people are on JK's side, and this was the first time where Steve Kerr's job as head coach of the Golden State Warriors was really under question, and not just from Warrior fans, but league-wide. Late in that Denver game, I had mates messaging me who are not Golden State fans, who are semi-NBA, who like the NBA, but they're not addicted. Like, they wouldn't watch it every day, obviously, because for us in Australia, games are on during the middle of the day when most people are at work. I had mates messaging me saying, why is Jonathan Kuminga not back in the game? And seriously, like, asking questions about that. And if they, non-Warrior fans, are questioning what Steve Kerr's doing, that just goes to show you the kind of narrative that was being built here, not just among Warrior fans, but you had, analysts like Kevin O'Connor at The Ringer who called it coaching malpractice, and he was completely right, and he wrote an article about it, and obviously he covers the entire league, not just Golden State. And so this was the first time to me where Warrior fans have been questioning some of what Steve's been doing the entire season, but this was so egregious. The fact that JK didn't get back in the game was so egregious, so wrong, that the storyline became a league-wide thing.